The first time I faced Andy Reid as a head coach, during the pregame, while the teams are out there stretching and kind of going through their pat and go, just being able to go over and just give them a big hug and a thank you. That hug will be special, and especially the first one.
He'll come up to you and give you that great big old firm handshake, put his arm around you. He'll talk family first. He'll ask how Stephanie, how the kids. I mean, he always does that. Then he'll talk a little bit of football. Hey, how you guys doing? Boy, I like this guy, I like that guy. He shakes your hand and says, hey, good luck today. And he means it. That's what's, I mean, you want to beat him, but when he says it, you know he means it when he says good luck.
You know, you're always striving to win a Super Bowl, right? That's the goal. That's a goal for all of us. But I'm also wishing my assistants the best of luck, unless they're playing us. I want them to win. And if they have a chance to win Super Bowls, win those things, man. They're hard to get.
What's interesting is that for me right now, I'm seeing things that I didn't necessarily understand or know why, but now that I'm in it as a head coach, I know, okay, oh yeah, that's why he did this, or that's why he did that.
What do we always say, I start to sound like my father, when you talk to your own kids. I could probably say I'm starting to sound like Coach Reid, when I talk to my players.
One of the things Andy always did was he always encouraged us as coaches to be in the locker room. It made me realize after my second season that I hadn't spent enough time in the locker room for the players to get to know me and for me to get to know them. And the biggest reason is because I have a vested interest. They have a vested interest. The coaches have a vested interest in what happens in that locker room.
By watching Coach Reid for so many years, you get this sort of knack that he builds relationships with his players and with his coaches. And so for me, it was about that.
Your culture has to be right, and if it's not right, you have to correct it. Andy always had a certain set of rules that he always talked about, certain things not to talk about in the locker room, certain behaviors not to have in the locker room. As a head coach, I have to be more visible there. I remember that lesson and went back and did it.
Philadelphia is not Kansas City and vice versa. So whatever works there may not work here in Philadelphia, but I had to find what did work. And for me, it was about relationship. It was about building, trust with the players. The players are going to have to, buy into what I was selling. And that's a hard thing. That's a scary thing when you're standing up there in front of the team for the first time and you're the new head coach. What am I going to say that's going to make you believe to follow me?
Are we done? Yes! This is what you guys have done, right? This is what you've accomplished. You guys get on me a lot about, dress code and the way we practice and doing things and the shit. Well, guess what? It's for this moment right here. We said before, an individual can make a difference, but a team makes a miracle. Tonight, guys, we are going to party.
I bought him dinner. So yeah, we bought it, and he ate about half the Atlantic Ocean. So it was, we went to a seafood restaurant, and Doug can eat. He doesn't look like he can eat. For a quarterback, that guy can put away a lot of food, but we did some damage. There are not a lot of oysters on the eastern seaboard hanging out right now.
Coach Reid, one of his strengths obviously is being able to bring all that together and tie it all in, bring all these different personalities together for one common theme and one common goal, and that's to win games on Sunday. And I just remembered the words of just be you, be open, be honest, and that's all I did. That's all I knew what to do. He kept telling me that all of last year during our championship run, and that just resonates bigger and louder than any football play, more than the Philly special, more than the fourth down in the Super Bowl. And that's what I see in these other coaches, and that's why I think they've had success. And Coach Rivera's been able to coach in a Super Bowl, and Harbaugh's been in a Super Bowl. And when I'm standing on the sideline and Coach Rivera's on the other side, Ron is Ron. And he's leading his team how he sees fit.
That was a hell of a block. You got pads on, I know where you're going. That's a great job.
You're going to see it with Coach Nagy, first-time coach this year in Chicago, and that's the fingerprint, that's the footprint of what Coach Reid has done with all of us now in this position is be who you are.
Bill Walsh in his book, The Winning Edge, which is a book that Andy recommended we all go out and buy when we first started coaching for him, talks specifically about the West Coast way of doing things. Well, Andy Reid had a way of doing things.
It goes without said, he's a winner. You know, you got a guy that almost has 200 victories in a 19-year career as a head coach. His first year as a head coach in Philadelphia was a losing season. His last year as a head coach in Philadelphia was a losing season, and there in the middle was a losing season. He hasn't had, other than those 3 years, you're getting a winner. He's going to get a Super Bowl. He's going to get it. He's going to end his career with a Super Bowl. I know he will.
I mean, the Hall of Fames and the busts in Canton and all that, and the Yellow Jackets, I mean, those are all really important things, you know, in our world. But really, it's the waves, you know, it's the pebble and the pond and the waves. To me, that's what really matters. You know, it's the effect that you have on people. It's what you leave behind. It's the people that you change. You know, Coach Reid's had an impact on a whole lot of people over his NFL career.
There was a human element to Andy that I don't know if a lot of people are very well aware of.
You know, they see Andy Reid as a stoic, you know, one-word answer, press conference type of a guy, and yet he is probably the total opposite from a personality standpoint.
He's very funny.
He's got a tremendous sense of humor. And if he's going to be the butt of a joke, it doesn't bother him, doesn't faze him one bit.
The team's looking pretty good out there today.
That's my cue, good looking. Come on, beautiful. Go get you a hamburger.
He's very personable. He cares about your family. He cares about his family.
He's just a loving parent, grandfather.
You know, we always were allowed to have the kids around.
His grandkids came into his office. I mean, he literally shut everything down, and all the tension was on those grandkids, those grandbabies.
Grandkids, I mean, you know, they're always going to get first priority. It might be somebody else's grandkids, they're going to get first priority with me.
When Allison was first born, she maybe was about 6, 7 months old, and we brought her over to the office, and Coach Reid grabbed her and started talking to her and stuff, and she reached out, and first thing she did was she was just looking at him so intently, and she reached out and she grabbed his mustache and pulled. Like, oh, no. You know, and Coach got a big kick out of that, so I think those are the things you probably remember more than anything else.
I've had a couple personal tragedies. You know, I lost my brother just before the Super Bowl year. He sent me a message. Our house burned down during the playoffs in January of 2015. He sent me a message. I mean, just he thinks about others and never forgets others.
I learned how to be a better coach, for sure, but I learned how to be a better person, a better man. And that's what, all in all, that's what this is all about, is being a better person, better man, and you'll be a better coach because of that. So, Coach Reid, thank you. You know you came from Coach Reid. You know that, and you respect that ultimately. Now, I wasn't with Coach Harbaugh in Philadelphia when he was there. I wasn't there. But we had that mutual respect for each other because we learned from him. For me to be a part of that, I feel very fortunate, and I don't want to let him down.
I look back to those years in 1999 and 2000 with that staff, and I see the head coaches that have come off of that staff, and then even my time in Kansas City, having, you know, myself kind of come from that, and now, you know, Coach Nagy, Matt Nagy in Chicago, how he has sort of empowered us as assistant coaches to think outside the box, to be bold, to try to be bigger than life itself. The fact that he's made us good coaches, that's the legacy.
I don't even think about legacy. I'm not there. But until then, it's full steam ahead.